Hi everyone, welcome back. So as part of the celebration of Holland America Line's 150th anniversary, and to celebrate the publication of the first two of the upcoming 5-volume history of Holland America Line, here you see the first volume. I'm going to give a brief talk about the history of several of Holland America Line's ships, starting from the 1900s and going right through into the 21st century. Between the 1840s and the 1870s, there were various attempts by Dutch businessmen and ship owners to create a steamship line to connect the Netherlands with the United States. In 1873, the company that would eventually become known as the Holland America Line got underway and set sail with their first ship, the Rotterdam. Between 1873 and 1899, business was good. The company gradually grew and the size of its fleet grew as well. The bulk of its trade came from immigration, from migrants coming from the eastern and southern ends of the continent and coming through the Netherlands and then sailing on their ships to New York. So in 1899, the Holland America Line executives commissioned Holland and Wolff to build 3, for the time gigantic, ocean liners. And their flagship is our ship that we'll be talking about today, the Potsdam, or as everyone else like to call it, the Funneldam. At 15,000 tons, the Potsdam and its two sisters were among the largest ships afloat at the time. In comparison, the Potsdam was 1,000 tons heavier than the 4-funneled Kaiser Wilhelm de Grosse that had been built in 1897. Holland and Wolff had been overbooked at this time, so this particular ship was built at Blom und Voss in Germany, and at the time it was the largest ship built in a German shipyard. The 3 ships were of identical design, but this ship had draft problems, so the company sent the ship back to the shipyard and had a 7-meter extension plonked onto its funnel to increase the draft. This overcompensation worked, and the ship sailed smoothly from then onwards. And as you can see, here is a photo of the ship as it was originally built, and the next photo is with its tremendous funnel extension. Another reason why the Potsdam was jokingly referred to as the Funneldam, or in Dutch, the Pippendam, pijpen, pip being stack or funnel, was they weren't too happy with the fact that one of their flagships was named after a German city. But Holland America Line executives understood that if they could name one of their ships or some of their ships with a location that was familiar to immigrants, then it could prove to be the tipping point for allowing those migrants to choose to travel with them. Potsdam is a city in Germany, and it was relatively central for the immigrants that were looking to travel by sea. It worked, and it should also be recorded that Holland America Line had an extensive agent network, over 40 locations throughout the continent, and chapters have been dedicated to those operations in the upcoming histories of this company. In addition, they would have people waiting at the train stations so that once the immigrants would be unloaded, they would escort them to various hotels that were set aside for them, and there they would be fed, well rested, have access to medical care, so that once they boarded the ship, they were in the best possible health. This was not just good human practice, but this was also in the company's best interest, because when immigrants would reach New York, they would have to go to Ellis Island to get a thorough physical check. If the immigrant was deemed to be unfit or unhealthy to enter the country, then they were shipped back home at the company's expense. So it was in everyone's best interests to ensure that once they reached New York, everyone was healthy. The Potsdam, aka Funneldam, served Holland America Line for 15 years before it was sold to a new company called the Swedish American Line, and it became their flagship. They renamed it Stockholm, lowered the funnel by 1 meter, and it became their flagship. And it served as such for another 13 years before it was sold to the Norwegians, who rebuilt this ship into a whale factory ship. And if you are interested in finding out more about the career of the Funneldam as a whaling ship, may I recommend to you this book and my previous review about this book, which you can also find in the link below. During World War II, this ship was trapped in Cherbourg, and as the Germans were withdrawing from that port, they decided to scuttle the ship to block the harbour. The damage was too great, and this 44-year-old ship was, at the end of the war, raised and sent off to the scrapyard. A long career, but an unfortunate end to one of the first flagships of Holland America Line in the 20th century. And now please stay tuned for their next mini ship history.